Hello everybody, this video is entitled Epic Crypto Bounce MSTR and CleanSpark because we are bouncing pretty hard right now. In fact, so as you know, I follow short-term day-to-day, I follow Marty Party's stream. I don't know if he's looking at the stream, he's gonna have to update the stream because we're about to go through the screen, especially for Solana. We're about to get out of the screen. This is literally that meme of that green candle just spiking up relentlessly. Bitcoin was at 90. In fact, at some point, like 89,900 on some exchanges this morning. Fast forward an hour, what do you get? You get 94,300, actually 94,400 as I record this. Solana, even better of a spike. We were in the 130s. We are now at 144, going on 145. And of course, this is probably fueled by market optimism, where it seems like, you know, without an ounce of a doubt, it seems like we are getting a Fed cut tomorrow. The market is very excited. You also know what that means. After we get the cuts tomorrow, maybe we sell off a little bit. That's maybe what it means too. But the market is getting very excited about that rate cut coming up. And what that means is that Sailor bought the dip. For once, Sailor bought the dip, right? That was what a timely buy. 10,600 Bitcoin at 90,600 on an average. He's already up, tens of millions of dollars on that, right? And he's already up like, what, $50 million probably on that buy alone. He bought the dip. Good for him, good for us, MSTR shareholders. As you know, MSTR is a top stock of this channel. We love MSTR on this channel. MSTR performing very well today, behaving as it should. Bitcoin's up 4%, MSTR is up 7.5%, roughly 1.5 times behaving as it should. But of course, this is not the bigger news. The bigger news is that as I record this, Stretch is actually at 99.01. I checked just before hitting record, 99.01. Tomorrow we get a rate cut, so that's another 25 basis point delta compared with the new SOFR rate as of tomorrow. And we're going to naturally get back to 100. And then when we get back to 100, that's going to be ATM galore. As Sailor has stated before, he could be ATMing if that works full steam like he anticipates. He could be ATMing $1 billion worth of Stretch a week if it works full steam, as he really hopes so. And I'm very bullish. And I'm very bullish from the 3.5 days we traded at 100, 101 sells, getting it back to 100 when we were in that stable coin status. You remember he was able to raise a lot of money in the $100 million range. He was very successful. I think this is going to be a very successful instrument. This is still the iPhone moment for strategy. Let me spend a second on another stock that I own and that I've praised multiple times on this channel. It is CleanSpark. CleanSpark, we're up 10% at one point. I guess we're up 9%. We'll take it. Lots of people on X discussing a possible squeeze on CleanSpark. When I look at marketbeat.com, I go look at the short interest, and we get this data like 20 days late every time. The last data we have for CleanSpark short is they had 26% of their shares, 27% of their float was shorted, and that had increased compared to the prior report. And so there's a lot of short interest on CleanSpark. Maybe we are seeing a little bit of a squeeze. But I think more importantly, what we're seeing a market who just places trades. Maybe algos place trade and they're completely oblivious. Imagine the danger of shorting CleanSpark when on Q3, so 2 weeks ago, earnings call of Q3, you had the CEO said, we're in talks with 2 hyperscalers, one of which just called me last night. He said that 2 weeks ago. The CEO of CleanSpark said that 2 weeks ago. One of them just called them last night to make sure that they were still in the running, to make sure that their bid was still considered. CleanSpark's going to announce an hyperscaler at some point for their Sandersville facility. They were very, very clear about this. And people own a 26% short positions? I mean, have you seen what happens to these stocks when they announce deals? Go look at what happened to Nebius when they announced a deal. Go look at what happened to Cypher, what happened to Iron when they announced a deal. So you have a third of the company who's shorted, and you have a CEO who actively said that there's going to be a deal announced. So I'll give you a hint. That stock's going to pop when that deal is announced. So I think we could see a squeeze, and I kind of wish they announced the deal sooner than later, so that the shorts don't close their position, because this has gotten way too far. The sell-off in these crypto companies has gone way too far, in my view. You may remember my video from 2 weeks ago where I essentially casually calculated that CleanSpark was trading at a 2.5x EBITDA. 2.5x EBITDA. That's like 3 times as cheap as a mall who's about to file bankruptcy. Like, that's how cheap it is. So anyways, and folks, I will finish with this. My optimism for Bitcoin has never been so high. Bitcoin is so undervalued right now, and of course institutions are buying. Institutions don't buy the top. Bitcoin is so undervalued right now, especially if you compare it to things like, even copper or silver or gold. It's extremely undervalued. I still fundamentally believe that Bitcoin has no top, because fiat has no bottom. Fiat governments, and that's all around the world, not just the US, they will never rein in spending. They always have a reason to keep spending. Every day, you have a government agency somewhere in the US or somewhere in the world who announces they spend $1 billion here, $1 billion there, $2 billion there, $100 million here. No matter what, there is no desire in our government or in the world's government to curb spending. That desire does not exist. And so what does that mean? That means the US debt will have to be refinanced. Why will it have to be? It has to be refinanced because, the former administration issued a bunch of short-term debt, but it's going to have to be refinanced, and it's not the Japanese who are going to buy that debt. It's not the investors who are going to buy that debt. Some stable coin, thank goodness for the stable coin, are going to buy that debt, but most of that debt, make no mistake, for the rates to drop, most of that debt is going to have to be bought by quantitative easing from the Fed, i.e. by the Fed literally printing the money on a magic money computer. As Powell has said, well, we printed it digitally. We printed digitally. They printed digitally, and they're just gonna buy government bonds. They're just gonna go in the open market and buy a bunch of government bonds, aka pure money printing is gonna be what bails out the debt, and that's what's coming next. And that's why Bitcoin has no top, because it's a problem with the denominator. This channel is called Beat the Denominator. And if you ask me, with hard assets, this denominator, I believe, is pretty easy to beat, because there is no desire to rein in spending. And again, I could have taken any example. But this is the example that's trending today. People seem to be excited about it. Like, in what universe is it the role of the federal government to provide reading nooks, workout zones, and kid play areas at U.S. airports, especially when you have a lot of flight controllers who have complained about not having the equipment needed, and you had hours and hours of delays because we don't even have like the highest standards of safety, yet they find that it's a good idea to invest in kid play areas and reading nooks. Well, let me tell you one thing. Isn't that something that private business should handle? Isn't that something that's like kind of partially, if not mostly, handled by airport lounges? Airport lounges have all of this. Airport lounges have walkout areas, typically. Sometimes you have standalone shops with walkout areas at airport. Kid play areas, you're going to find those in airport lounges. Like, really? A grant? Think about it. It's a grant. It's $1 billion. You just throw $1 billion for a photo op. So they want to give out the goodies. No matter who's in power, they're always going to want to give out the goodies. And these goodies cost billions of dollars per business day, because there's always an agency somewhere who's going to say, oh, I'm going to offer this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And so fiat has no bottom. They will keep spending the money regardless. Doge has failed. So anyways, I'm so bullish on Bitcoin. I can't even begin to tell you how bullish I am on Bitcoin. Anyways, this was not investment advice. This is not financial advice. This is only entertainment. I'm only hoping you were entertained. Please like, please subscribe, follow me on Patreon, follow me on X. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.